different background today because Gideon and I had this set up for me to film some other things, and I decided I would just sit here this morning to do a coffee with Dawni. And got my new coffee cup going on, my little coffee house cup. I love getting new mugs. Feel free to send me new mugs anytime you want. I'll be happy to give you my address. Anyway, all right, we're going to talk about something today that I've worked with a lot of my one-on-one clients on. And it is our patterns and our addictions that we are trying to change, we're trying to shift, and they're being stubborn little effers. And I am telling you guys, people repeating patterns, reversing, regressing back to old addictions is everywhere I look. Are you experiencing this? The temptation to go back. There is almost an energy of sabotage, of self-sabotage going on. Like our lives are trying to level us up and we're fighting it. We're saying things like, I don't know how to. But really what we mean is, I don't feel worthy of. I'm not ready for. Okay? And we are holding ourselves back by reverting back to old patterns and addictions and habits that are not a match for the leveling up. And believe me, I've been fighting this one pretty hard myself. And as I'm getting stronger with it, as I'm saying, nope, not this time. Absolutely not this time. I'm finding myself having to do something different to move forward. And I'm going to share that with you. So let's start with the idea that you have. Let's start with addiction. Let's say you have an addiction to smoking, to drinking, to sugar, okay? To procrastination, to sleeping in, to being late, whatever that looks like, because honestly, bad habits turn into addictions. And they can they can really mess up your life. They can really affect not just you, but the people that you're surrounded by. So, let's start with the assumption that there's some kind of addiction or bad habit that you have tried to change over and over and over, and it has not worked. Has not stuck. So maybe you can change it. Maybe you can get off sugar for 3 weeks, but you've never been able to do it for longer than that. Maybe you've quit smoking 8 times, but every time you end up going back. So I want to look at this in a whole different way, and I want to ask this question. What about the thing you're trying to change is actually beneficial, true, and helps you and serves you? What about it is beneficial, helps you, and serves you? Because until you see the truth of it, you're going to keep being drawn back into it. So let's take my drug of choice, which is food, comfort food. So sugar for sure, but like bread, basically carbs. In one word, carbs. So for years, eating more than I knew was good for me, eating junk food that not only made me overweight, but also made me sluggish, brain fog, not feeling good about myself. I could go on and on and on. Why? Why is that the thing? Why does that keep coming back around for me? So, on our trip, Gideon and I went way off the wagon with food, and we ate whatever we wanted to. And when we came back, it took me a couple of weeks to cut those foods back out. And I looked so closely at why I was struggling to that degree. What I finally had to realize was that there was something very true about that food for me. That it did comfort me. that there was a level of me wanting and desiring to take a break, to have things be less intense for me, to be buffered against reality. And almost like it was something I was doing just for me. There was an element of self-care, but it was the imitation of self-care. Because P.S., things we do for self-care that end up hurting us more in the long run are not really self-care. That's no long-term empathy for ourselves. However, I had to look at the fact that, okay, I need something to give me a little bit of downtime. I need something that is in my control where I can take some time out and feel like I'm having some self-care. So one of the things that I've added to my schedule is tea at night. I have my coffee in the morning, obviously, but then at night when I would normally have some, bowl of ice cream or a brownie or something, I still want to take a minute, give myself a little treat, just kind of have some downtime. And so I get out, I have like 6 different teas I can choose from. And so I give myself a cup of hot tea. I look forward to it. Just like I look forward to my coffee in the morning, I'm starting to look forward to my tea at night. So this is a very, very simple and kind of basic example of the concept I'm talking about. But you ask yourself, what about this is true? What about this blesses my life? What about this serves me? And then you find a healthy replacement. So what about smoking? Okay. Well, people who smoke, they get a break, don't they? They get a break from all of these things going on. I know I've talked about little aspects of this before, but I felt very strongly like we needed to address this while it was so up in the collective. Okay. They can leave any conversation. I got to go have a smoke. They can take extra breaks at work. They can go outside and get some time in nature. So what are some other ways that you could do that? Instead of a smoke break, could you give yourself a nature break? I want you to really think about this for a second, you smokers. Could you change the terminology? Could you change the habit only by taking out the unhealthy piece of it and keeping all that is healthy? Because honestly, I think it's extremely healthy to take some extra time for yourself and breathe without breathing in cigarette smoke and go be outside in nature. So if you kept that piece of it, and maybe at first you need, a mint or something. I'm going to go take a nature break with my mint or my gum or whatever, but still that you're keeping the part that works for you. So ultimately, that's what this is about. When we're changing a habit, how do we keep the part that actually works for us? And then we tweak it until it's a pure yes, instead of just getting rid of the whole entire ritual or the whole thing. A lot of our habits are rituals. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of the big ones. Let's take alcohol. Let's take drinking. So you're the type that you have a hard day at work and you come home, and to relax and to kind of come down from the day, you have a couple of drinks, maybe a couple too many. It's not good for you. It's causing problems in other areas of your life. But what's true about this? Well, what's true is that you need some downtime. Are you guys starting to see what these all have in common? There's a whole group of habits that are trying to compensate for us being stressed, for a lot of the modern stressors that we have. So what's true about this? You need a minute. Okay? And maybe you even need something to help you come from this up stress down to down here. So could you replace it? Now I know this is, those of you who are, smokers or drinkers or sugar addicts are like, screw you, Dawni. Trust me, that's not a mint, and standing in nature is not going to take the place of smoking. No part of me is saying that you're not going to have a sacrifice of getting over that addiction. I'm just saying, let's keep the part of it that works for us truly, without the part that is not working for us in the long term. Let's take the good and let go of the stuff that is toxic. Okay, so back to the drinking thing. What could you have? What if you had a little fridge full of lots of amazing drinks that are your favorite drinks that are non-alcoholic? Is this going to necessarily take the place of alcohol? Maybe not right away, but you still will have a ritual. All right, driving home from work, I know I'm going to go in there and it's fully stocked. I'm going to keep it fully stocked. You can ask your spouse or your kids or whatever to help with this. You can try out new drinks if you have a favorite. Oh, look, I've got, a Coke in here I can have. Now, is Coke the healthiest thing in the world? Maybe not. But is it healthier than all the alcohol you're drinking? Probably. Either way, the idea is that you replace it with still having a ritual, but one that is more healthy than what you've got going on. So what is true about this? Okay, so sleeping in. Well, maybe you actually do need more sleep than you've been getting. So how do you give yourself that so you're not taking away from the actual need, but you're doing it in a way that doesn't negatively affect the rest of your life? Do you need to go to bed an hour earlier and sleep instead of sleeping in an hour later? The whole point here is to honor what truly works for you while letting go of what does not work for you. I'm concerned about this because I'm seeing so many people fall back into old habits and patterns and addictions that they fought very hard to get out of. So if this is you, I want you to ask yourself these very important questions and please give yourself what you actually need. Find a way, find a ritual to do it in the way that truly works for you and works for your life. Now, maybe this all sounds basic, and maybe it's something that we've talked about somewhat before. Either way, it is so up right now that we need to address it again. And some of these things are going to be repeats. We learn by repetition. Either way, I adore you guys, and I want more for you than falling back into your old habits. I want more for myself than that. So, self-honesty, acknowledging what we really need, taking the good, and letting go of anything that doesn't serve. All right? As usual, I want to get some feedback on this. What habits are you working on? What are you trying to transform? What's true about it? And what's a healthier way that you could give yourself that? I love you guys. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.